Hi everyone, Stepan here. Sorry for not recording my games from Novi Sad immediately, but I had such a busy schedule preparing for the games that I just had no time. Right now I've played round 4, I lost unfortunately, and I'm going to analyze the first 4 games in 2 videos. In this one I'm going to analyze rounds 1 and 2, and in the second rounds 3 and 4. So on Friday we've had 1 round in the afternoon, then on Saturday we had double rounds, and today we played 1 in the morning. We are playing 1 at 5 p.m. So far the tournament I would say is going well, but I have to say it's going well rating wise, and it's somewhat the opposite of Gradishte because my play is worse and my results are better. I've made several really bad blunders, which I'll try to learn from, and I have to say that with black, I've lost both of my games with black. I've been playing badly, and let's see what happened. So in round 1, I was paired against a young player, younger than me, rated about 250 points higher than I am. And of course, I had no time to prepare for round 1. I didn't expect him to be paired against me. He wasn't in my preparation, so I really had no idea what's going to happen over the board. Played e4, he played the French. d4, d5, knight d2, I played the Tarrasch, and he played bishop e7. And now I know that the normal plans are c3 and stuff like that, but I wanted to play an aggressive variation, I know, and that's bishop d3. And now after c5, the normal move is d takes c5. But there is a variation with e takes d5, which loses the g2 pawn for white, but I like the variation. So e takes d5, queen takes d5, of course, and now you can see that there's no way to defend both d4 and g2, so the variation goes d takes c5, queen takes g2, bishop e4 defending the rook, and now queen g5, that's the only move. And now there are 2 moves in this position, at least what I thought. I was preparing knight b3, and there's b4 as well, and I don't like playing b4 because after bishop f6 I can get under pressure. There's knight b3 after that as well, so that's objectively a better move, but I went for knight b3. Now we have queen e5, queen e2, and partially I went for knight b3 partially because he didn't know the variation, he was taking a long time. Now knight f6 attacking my bishop, and now bishop g2 is probably a better move than what I played. I played bishop f3, forcing a trade of queens almost. He doesn't have such a good retreat square. So takes, and here he played a5, which I didn't really like for him, and I already like my position a lot. I have a very good bishop on f3, my other bishop is active, this pawn can always be defended with bishop e3, and there really are no problems. If he plays a4, then knight d2 to e4 or to c4 is always an idea, especially because there's a weakness on b6 and a weakness on d6. So I was happy here positionally. I played bishop e3, preparing to meet a4 with knight d2 to make sure I don't lose my pawn, knight c6. And now we had a long think because I don't want to allow knight b4, obviously, and I don't really know what to do after knight b4. I can't really castle queenside because he's going to take on a2. Can't really play c3 because that's too slow. In that case, knight d5 is coming. In which case I cannot play c4 because knight b4 once again, and I ended up taking on c6, so bishop c6, bc6, and knight c3. And knight c3 I thought was a good move, stopping knight d5. The c5 pawn is defended. My next maneuver is going to be knight d2, knight c4. He played a4, knight d2, and here he surprised me. He played the move a3, which I thought was a bad move, because now I can play b4. And it's not that I've defended my pawn, but that his a3 pawn is extremely weak, as you're going to see. So I can always play rook b1, rook b3, take the pawn. And I wasn't really sure why he played this, defending my pawn and allowing me to consolidate, basically, and now I have no problems in the position. His dark squared bishop is much worse than mine. I have rook g1, I have knight e4, I have knight c4, I have knight b6, then knight d6, and a very pleasant position. Here he played bishop a6, and now obviously bishop c4 is a threat if I move my knight. So threatening to take here, and I decided to provoke bishop c4 because I thought he was going to get his bishop to e5, instead of retreating, so I played knight d to e4 instead of knight c to e4. And I was expecting bishop c4, and I was to retreat my knight. And that's what happened. Bishop c4, knight d2, and now the best move I think is bishop a6, but he played bishop d5. And now I'm happy. Firstly, because that's not a tempo, I gain a tempo, rook g1. g6, and now rook b1. And everything is defended. I can even try to push b5 through, and I think I have a much better position. So king d7 was played here, and I played bishop g5 after a long think. So I don't really want to take the bishop because of knight takes d5, and then after knight takes d5, his bishop is coming to f6, maybe even to b2, and then he can win my pawn. I saw a variation after about half an hour's think, in which all of my pieces are good, and I went for that. So I played bishop g5. Firstly, the threat is if he doesn't do anything, I'm going to take here, bishop takes, and then I'm going to take the bishop with my knight. I don't really want to... He played rook h2 b8. I don't want to take the bishop first, because he can then still take with the knight, and after bishop takes bishop, knight takes bishop, I think I still do have the d6 square, but I think what I played was better. Just consolidating. Bishop takes f6, bishop takes f6, knight takes d5, e takes d5, and now rook g3. And I'm putting pressure on a3. I'm going to play c3 if rook a4 comes, which he played. So now c3. b4 is forever defended. d4 cannot be played because of rook d3, at least not for the moment. And I always have knight f3 putting pressure on the pawn. So I was really happy. He played bishop e5, which I thought was a bad move. Rook f3, gaining a tempo on the f7 pawn. He cannot take here, obviously. f5, h3, and now he played rook e8. And now positionally I'm better. I have a passed pawn potentially with b4, so I just wanted to improve my pieces. King d1, bishop c7, knight b3 coming into d4, if allowed, rook e4, and that's what I expected. So I played king d2 first, trying to get my other rook into play with rook e1. He played rook a8 and now knight d4, stopping if the rooks get doubled, stopping rook e2. And he can put pressure along the e file, but it's not really sure what he's doing. e2 is covered, e1 is covered, e3 is covered. I'm going to push my pawn, and that's it. He played bishop e5, threatening to take, king d3 defending, and now rook e8. And now I thought that he doesn't have time for rook e8. Obviously, he's trying to play like bishop takes, pawn takes, and then rook e2 or rook e1. But that doesn't really make sense, because a2 is defended, f2 is defended, so I just play rook b3. And now if he takes, let's say rook e2, if I take here, then that's just game over. I'm just winning. So after rook b3 he played rook a8, and here I was sure I was about to win the game, because knight c2 and the pawn is going to drop. There's no way to defend. He found one way to counter, rook c4, but now king d2 simply defends my pawn even if I exchange on a3, so it's now defended twice. Even if I take, rook takes, knight takes. In the previous variation I couldn't take because rook takes, knight takes, rook takes c3, and if I take with the knight, then I cannot move the knight because my a2 pawn is hanging. So just king d2, and here he surprised me. He had a good move which I thought would draw. Didn't see what I do to that, so the move was bishop f4 check. And after bishop f4 check I have to play king d1. And now he can just return the bishop to the diagonal. I mean, I don't have time to take on a3. I would probably play rook e3, let's say bishop f6, and I think he's holding on for the moment. Yeah, but instead of that, after king d2 he played f4, which doesn't do anything, just rook takes a3, rook takes a3, knight takes a3, rook e4, and now knight c2, stopping infiltrations everywhere. He played g5, which, yeah, I should have played a4 immediately here. That's one thing. I played it too late. I played rook d3, afraid of... no, maybe not here. Yeah, I played rook d3 because I'm going to have to play it eventually after h5. g4, I'm going to lose my rook if I don't. So bishop b8, and now I should have played a4, simply advancing my pawn. But I played knight d4, and for what reason, I'm not sure. I wanted to put pressure on c6, wanted to stop him from consolidating his position. He played h5, and now I played f3, stopping g4 for the moment. Rook e8, king d1, I want to play rook d2 and rook g2, or rook e2. Bishop e5, a4 now, rook a8, a5. Another idea was b5, which I thought could have been better, but I wasn't really sure. Because if takes, I'm going to take here, king here, check, takes. I'm not sure about this position. I think that after a4, rook a8, I should have played b4. Let me turn on the engine. Yeah, okay, b4. Okay, takes here. Oh yeah, okay, if this, then rook takes, but what if he takes with the rook? Oh, the knight takes. Okay, yes, okay. Yeah, that makes sense, and that's much better. I played a5, which is still winning, as you can see. And now we have bishop takes d4. I have to take with the rook. Rook takes d4. King e6, rook d2, king f5, rook g2, stopping g4, and now rook e8, rook e2 challenging the rook f8. And now I thought about playing rook g2 back, but then just rook e8, so I played king e1. g4, I have to exchange h takes, f takes, king takes. And yeah, here I was low on time, really low on time. I was in Zeitnot already, and I knew that my position was winning, but it became hard. King f2, rook h8, and now he's threatening stuff. King g1, rook f3, rook f2 check, and apparently, as we are going to see, rook f2 check was my crucial mistake. I shouldn't have been afraid. In this position, I just need to play rook c6, and if he checks me here, there's really nothing in the position. I was afraid that he was going to play rook h8 back, but then I can just march my king away, and he has nothing. He has to defend the c6 pawn, and I'm not sure, but it's just completely winning. After king f3, I played rook f2 check, which, as you can see, is a draw. And now we have king e3, king g2, rook f8, check, 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 king e4, and now I played rook h3, and here I was happy because I evicted his king. I'm not afraid of f3 because rook f2. And my next move is going to be the rook h6 or rook h7. And here he played rook f6 and offered the draw. I had 50 seconds on the clock and I accepted. I'm embarrassed that I accepted, but because I know that I could win, and it's easily winning in fact, but I was under so much pressure and tired because I was traveling the whole day and just didn't want to blunder away this position. Obviously, if I just play a6, he needs to play rook f8 and rook f7. And let's say I just play rook h6 now. I mean, he has nothing. Rook c6. I'm going to play king f2. What does he do? King here? I mean, I'm just going to play rook f6 and wait, no. Yeah, this is winning, but not that much. I made a mistake somewhere. Okay, king f2. And if he plays king d3... Oh yeah, I can just play... Oh yeah, okay, there's this trick. I can just win by sacrificing my rook. But there were several ways to win, but it was hard to calculate them with 50 seconds on the clock. If I had 5 or 6 minutes, I wouldn't have accepted the draw, but I just didn't want to risk. He's much higher rated than I am, and half a point seemed fine, so I accepted. Okay, and... couldn't get any sleep that night because I had 100 mosquitoes in my room. I ended up killing them until 3 o'clock in the morning. So I was really tired the next day for round 2. And I was playing a great young female Indian. She's really strong. And I prepared, knew that she plays knight c3 against the Caro-Kann. So we got this position. I played my Karpov. She goes knight g5, which is one of the main moves. I played the main line. And in this position, bishop d3 is the main move. And now I know that h6, knight f3, c5 is what black should play. That's basically the main line, and black is already equal here. The position is perfectly equal, and there's no advantage for white after knight f3. You can see that the engine says all zeros. But during the game, I had a complete blackout because I remembered one variation I was analyzing a year ago, in which I can take the d4 pawn, and it's obviously not possible to take it. But there's one variation similar to this which I still have to figure out, which I remembered. Something was different, but I don't know what yet. I didn't analyze the game in depth, in which black can take d4. Now obviously the problem is, after queen takes d4, that knight f3 happens, and then when I move my queen, let's say I move it to c5, then knight e5 is threatening to win my f7 pawn. So I have to play bishop e7, he can take, and then I have to castle, and I'm obviously several pawns down and in a losing position. So, after bishop d3, I know that I have bishop b4 check. after, I'm sorry, yeah, I know that I have bishop b4 check after queen takes d4, knight f3. And in the analysis of the variation a year ago, this actually worked, giving up a piece for 3 pawns. Here it didn't, and I have to say this is my most embarrassing defeat ever. Just losing in the Caro-Kann on move, what move is this? On move 8, so on move 8 I was lost. So I took knight f3, bishop b4, and this was all my analysis, c3, bishop takes c3. Now of course if she takes, she is losing, but king f1, and my bishop is hanging, my queen is hanging. So I play queen c5, bc3, queen c3, and for some reason, the variation I was analyzing a year ago, this was fine for black, giving up the piece for 3 pawns. Here it's not. Here it's already so losing that I thought of resigning. I actually saw it as soon as I played bishop takes c3. I saw that I messed up, but there was nothing better I could do. And this is resignable, but I wanted to practice tactics and defense because I knew that she was going to crush me. Bishop b2, queen c5, knight e5, castles, rook c1, queen e7, queen c2, and here I can either play g6 or h6, but after h6 I was really afraid of this. Okay, bishop check, I cannot take with the knight, I was afraid of this here, and now the move bishop a3, and I didn't know what to do after bishop a3. I'm not sure what the engine says, but after bishop a3 I'm pretty sure I should be lost. Yeah. Okay, so I'm going to have to give up my queen basically, and that's it. So if I take the bishop, it's checkmate. So I didn't want to play h6, but I think h6 can be played. Can it be played? I'm not sure. Yeah, it cannot be played. So ended up playing g6. She played h4, getting her rook into play. Knight fd5, bishop d4. It's just so busted that there's, I mean, she took on h7 here, and I went out of the hall, went to the bathroom, and a friend of mine said, "Did she take on h7?" And I said, "Yeah." And I mean, I saw everything that she could do, but there's no way to fight this. With perfect play, this is so winning for white. If I take the knight, she's just going to play h4, and of course, I cannot take. I need to return my king here, so takes here. I mean, what, f6 perhaps? Check. I'm not check, attacking my rook. Let's say I move the rook here, then here, here, here. I mean, this is, I think this is mate in something, or yeah, you can see that it's losing. I'm losing everything. So after knight takes h7, I played f6, and now I saw that I'm not getting checkmated in this variation, but I'm losing too much material. Knight takes, pawn takes, bishop c5, and yeah, this is just game over. So the round in the morning was embarrassing, but a lot to learn from that. I never lost because I thought the variation works, the sacrifice works before. I never lost because of a misjudged preparation before, so this is a new thing for me. But what can you do? So an embarrassing defeat. Luckily for me, next round I won. As you are going to see, I defeated a much higher rated opponent, and I'm going to cover that in the next video. Once again, so I'm sorry for not recording the games immediately, but it was really hard. Didn't get enough sleep, had too much to prepare for the games, and I was just tired. I'm going to cover rounds 3 and 4 today, and in the evening after I finish round 5, I'm going to cover round 5, so I'm going to get to analyzing the games immediately. Today is the last day with the double round, so it's going to be easier. So in the evening, sometime, I'm going to analyze rounds 3 and 4, and then round 5. Thanks very much for watching, and see you later today. Bye-bye.